Good morning, Hamilton Church of Christ. This is the third year that I've done an online budget presentation. This kind of a started out in COVID, and we decided that it would be a good thing to do this online for those that wanted to watch it, and we wouldn't take up as much time during the worship service presenting the budget. We'll still have a short talk about the budget and Sunday morning and a handout, but if you want to get a little bit more in depth, this is the place to be. So again, welcome, and I'm glad to have you here. I want to start out like I usually do and review 2023. We had a very challenging budget of $10,200 per week, and we knew that there was a good chance that we might not make that budget. We had some circumstances that and expenses that caused us to set the budget at $10,200, and those have changed for next year. But we wound up our cash balance at the end of the year was $14,297 less than when we started. It went from $171,690 to $157,393, and contributions were $912 short of what the budget was. The actual contributions were $38,000 under budget, and we averaged $9,288 per week, which actually was about $87 higher than what we averaged contributing in 2022, which was a good thing. And so what caused that $14,000 loss was, first off, being short $38,000 under budget contributions, but our expenses were $507,000 compared to a budget of $530,000. So we were under budget on our spending, or our loss would have been higher. And there's really was only 3 or 4 things through the year that caused us to spend more money. The first was, of course, we bought a new air conditioner for $38,000 at the first of the year last year, and then we spent another $14,000 later in the year to do some landscaping around the building. And I hope that everyone is taking note of that and how much better it looks. That we hadn't landscaped outside of the building since it was built in '85. So those were probably the 2 major expenditures that we had during the year. Our insurance was a little higher this year. We also spent $4,000 in the fellowship room buying some electronic equipment and sound equipment to upgrade that so we can use it for other things. So other than that, well, of course, the other big contributing factor that reduced our expenditures was Ted leaving in September. So from middle of September to the end of the year, we saved on payroll expense. So that pretty much explains where we are for 23. We did have one special contribution last year, and that was at the very first of the year in January, and that was for the air conditioner. We raised $11,990 for that. Had $100 for other things. So we had a $12,000 special contributions in 23. In this chart you can see for the last, since 2018 through 2023, our contributions have mostly increased. We had, during the COVID years, we actually didn't do too bad. In 2021, we had a little bit a higher contributions that offset the trend a little bit. But if you look at the trend, it's gradually moving upward. And like I said, our contributions for 2023 were 92.88, and I think for 22 they were 91 something. So not a huge increase, but as long as we're steadily increasing, that's a good thing. As you can see, we have set the 24 budget for $9,350 per week. That comes out to $486,200 in contributions. And that's about a $900 decrease from last year's budget, and I think it's a little bit more than what we averaged this year, but I think it's a very attainable budget, and I think that will help cover the expenses that we'll have during this year. We get this part of the budget, just some of our main operating expenses. Of course, that's for the staff. This includes Minister Ryan and Will and Shirley, Secretary. All those are included in that first line. And one reason our budget can be lower this year is of course because Ted left, and so our salary expenses will be over $100,000 less than what they were last year. So that's a significant savings amount. We knew last year when we hired a youth minister to go, with our other two staff members, that our payroll expenses were going to be quite a bit. So for the coming year, you can see that's significant savings from what it was. We appreciate all the work that our staff does, teaching, baptizing, preaching the good news. When we look at other things in this part of the budget, visiting preachers and gospel meetings and Ladies' Day, we upped the budget some in that area. We do have a gospel meeting in April with Chad Ramsey. We're looking forward to that, and we do have a summer series planned for this year, starting the end of school through part of August. Sandra Logan's been working with the Ladies' Day quite a bit, and we will be having a Ladies' Day again this spring. And Sandra's been planning several events throughout the year, so that's a very good work that's going on with our ladies in the congregation. Paul Colvin works with the education area, and he's in charge of getting our teachers for all the classes. He does a great job. One thing that he's got planned for this year is a teacher's banquet. We've talked about that for the last few years. Last year we didn't get it done, but he does have that planned for January or February, sometime pretty early in the year. And so we're excited about that. Our teachers put in a lot of hard work, very hard work, preparing lessons each week, and it's a very important thing to teach our children and raise them up knowing about the Bible and knowing about the plan of salvation. And we're very excited about the work that Paul's doing with our Bible school and that area. Does include the VBS budget and other supplies in the education area. I think we're planning on having VBS here this summer. Next area is worship. Ron Clark schedules and does with the communion, and does a great job with that. We expense for communion supplies in that area and video security, which would include the control room. They didn't spend a whole lot last year, but we continually have to update our equipment in the control room to present a quality product. Security, we had in the budget last year to put cameras in the hallways, and adding to our other cameras. Jeff White works with the security team. We are planning this year to get those cameras for the hallways, and that's some expense for that. Fellowship supplies. Bob Moore and Henry Bonner have been working with the fellowship area. We had to increase their budget $3,000. As you know, our paper products have gone up considerably. Also, the church has been providing the meat for our fellowship meals. We are having more fellowships, and since the further we get away from COVID, we've had more fellowship meals. So, of course, our expense is going to be a little bit more. Bob and Henry also work with the Zone program, and as you know, we maintain another fund where we contribute money toward meals, help pay for feeding families that may have an illness or a death in the family during a funeral. So that's also good work that they're doing. Next slide is our youth. Lads to Leaders. Well, we increased the budget $6,000. $3,000 of that is going to Lads to Leaders due to the hotel expense, and registration expenses have gone up over the last couple of years, and we've had a greater participation in Lads to Leaders. So we've increased the budget there to $12,500. We host the youth series in the fall, and $750 is for that. We have some money in there for a mission trip that we usually take to Louisiana in the summer. And other activities are Horizons and CYC and other youth rally type programs. Youth retreat in Tuscaloosa this past year makes up the rest of that expense. We have been one thing we've been feeding the kids one Wednesday night on Wednesday night, and some of the expense has been going towards that. So we did increase the budget some for youth. Will's salary, like I said, was included above in the first slide. In the area of facility management, as you know, we have a big facility here. It takes a lot of, sometimes it takes quite a bit of maintenance to keep it up. Our utilities increased a couple $1,000 budget-wise. Building maintenance, well, the whole facilities management budget is $27,000 higher than last year. We did increase the category of building maintenance. We're hoping to do some replace some flooring over the carpet in the hallways and in the foyer, and do a little remodeling there. We anticipate some spending some money on that. We have some more work to do on our lighting inside and in the parking lots. It's a possibility that we may have to have some repair work done on the parking lot this year. That's always big expense, and hopefully we'll just be able to seal it and do some repairs and not have to do a complete repaving. So anticipate all those things being in the budget this year. And hopefully we'll not have any more air conditioning units go out. That's always a possibility. As old as the ones that we have, we still have several old ones, and those are quite expensive when you have to replace those. Appreciate Alan West and the work he does with the building and mowing, taking care of the building. Kelly Jones and his help is maintaining, keeping the building clean. Alan West, Chris Cox, and Dave Hall are all going to be are helping with overseeing the facility management. Administration is also included on this slide, and that's one area that I work with as well. We did have a 18% increase in our insurance this year, so building and liability insurance has gone up everywhere. Some insurance companies have stopped covering it, and so even though the expense has gone up, we're glad that we have an insurer with Church Mutual. You'll notice the last slide there, well, before we get to that, office expense, supplies, and copiers. We did have an increase in copy usage last year, $3,000 or $4,000. The last item there says vans, gas maintenance, and note payments. We have not had any van payments for a few years now, but I don't know if you noticed or not, but our smaller van, we did have an accident in it, and it totaled it out, and we got $13,000 from the insurance, but we're looking to purchase a new smaller van, hopefully something in the 15 passenger range, and looks like the prices for those are around $60,000. So I'm anticipating that we will have a note payment of some type for that when we make that decision. It's just going to take a little bit of time to research that and decide what we need, and that will go along with our bigger van, 20 something passenger van that we have out there. Just a couple more slides left. The next slide is the next two slides will be covering our missions. I did put a symbol for Maywood Christian Camp on this slide. Is one of the our top areas that we support. I'm going to call this our domestic mission efforts. Heritage Christian we've supported for many years. Also Child Haven and Frieda Hardman. We did increase our Maywood Christian Camp support a little bit. I think it was about 6,500, and we increased it to 7,200. We started supporting Jenkins Institute a couple of years ago. Dale and Jeff do a great job with that. Soldier Missions, we've continued to support that, and we're hoping to get them built up so they can support themselves. Benevolence, we've always had a good amount in there for benevolence and helped a lot of people. There's still a lot of people come by each and every day needing help. It's not much money in our pantry, but Rick Chambliss has been keeping the pantry supplied. I know we give out several boxes of food every week, and we're proud of the work that's being done there. We do have $1,000 in this year's budget for Christian College Scholarship. We anticipate somebody using that this fall. A total of $34,550. Going forward to our foreign missions. Of course, we're supporting Joe Warndall in Haiti, Gospel Chariot in Africa. Barton Kaiser is now in Dallas. He's training people to go into Latin American missions. And Wayne Barrier, and I've got China there, but he does work in the Philippines, China, many areas in the Southeast Asia, and I think they've even done some work in Brazil this past year. So that's a great work that's going on there. The very first item, India missions. There's been some items that we are concerned about with India right now, and we're investigating those, and it looks like we may discontinue supporting India. We haven't made a final decision on that yet, so those funds are in the budget because this has just came up recently, and so that could be uncommitted for this year's budget, but we just have to wait and see on that. Jared Zartan and Paul Logan and the elders have been working with our mission efforts, and Jared is doing a great job with that. Finally, this is very much the same as what I've had in our past presentations, and I'm just asking you, what should each one of us do? And I'm asking you to help increase your support for the work in Hamilton. Be generous givers. One thing each of us need to be reminded of is at the first of each year, if we have increases in our pay, or that we need to sit down and budget for ourselves and take stock of how much we're giving and try to increase that each and every year. We need to pray. We need to pray regularly for the whole work being done here, and for God's blessing on reaching the lost and building up the saved in 24. Proverbs 21 verse 5, the plans of the diligent lead surely to plenty. And that concludes my budget presentation for 2024. And I'm very thankful that you tuned in and are concerned enough to see about the work of the church going on here. Thank you.